Hello everyone, welcome back to PJ's CAD class. As an authorized Rhino trainer, I like to do everything in Rhino 3D software if possible. In jewelry industry, you have Rhino plugin professional software like GenVision, Metric, and Rhino Go. People often ask me, why don't you just use them instead of building everything from scratch in Rhino 3D? There are two reasons for it. I personally use Rhino Go for my jewelry design since there are a lot of good features for quick stone setting model. But for many startup designers, both programs may be a big investment to start with. Second, if you know how to build a model from scratch, you don't have to limit your self-design from the library those two professional jewelry program has. So long story short, learn the fundamental model concept may take longer time on your learning path, but it will be benefit to you in the long run for your CAD designer career. What I'd like to show you today is build this engagement ring. It's really popular, form in a lot of commercial jewelry. And then we're gonna build a 6 prong head and building this little bridge in the middle, and also build the ring shank with open on the top. And finally we're gonna edit this little bead setting diamond all the way around on both sides. The video might take too long to finish for just one, so I would like to separate this video in two parts. Just in case you wonder what kind of display view I'm using, if you go into this little triangle right here and you will see artistic, and this is the view I'm using. I usually use the ghost view. Are you ready? Let's get started. Let's start with this 5mm round stone, and then for how to make this stone, you can go on the right top corner there, and then you will see the info. There will be a link for my previous video. All right, so we want to do 6 prong on it. First of all, we want to decide what type of a prong size. You can do the round one, but the one that I have is more of the cushion looking. So I want to decide it, the prong, I want to snapping into the grid. So I turn on the grid snap on the bottom, and then let's do from the center right there. You can decide it whatever size you want it. Since I'm planning to have a 6 prong, and it's not super big of the stone, so I wanted to do is more like a 1mm. So I'm going to type a 1 here, and also type a 1. Now you can choose to have the corner. You have two choices here. Right here you have a corner is arc, or there's another very interesting one, is called conic. And what it does is give you a little bit more of the cushion. Let's go to conic, and they give you a little bit more of a cushion looking, and I really like this shape right there. All right, so we have the prong right there. Now the prong is going to over the girdle. Ideally, you don't want it to be too short, but you don't want to be too long. There are actually two types of a model for rendering purpose and for CAD, which you are going to casting purpose. For the casting purpose, you want to leave it a little bit longer, so your jeweler will have some room to bend the metal over. Okay, so let me move this in a little bit. You can move in 30%, 40%, or even more, like 50% of entire area, but definitely not over 50%, because you're gonna make your prong really weak. I usually do in between 30 to 40. Okay, so that's the profile for a prong. And then I need to know what is the shape going to the bottom. You want them to have the same. I'm going to use the gumball, drag it, and tap my Alt key. So then you will have a copy there, and I'm going to flip it 90 degree right there. Okay, so you don't want the metal to touch the cullet, which is this point part of the stone. And then You want it close to the middle as possible. Okay, now we wanted to have a shape, a profile of the shape, and depends on how you like it. There are a couple ways to do it. You can just go ahead to, you know, draw the shape that you like it, or something like this from quad to quad. So at the perspective, you can see they are like it. Or you can do is put two little tabs. So one's here and one's here. And then you can use the blend tool, blend curve, which is right here. And then you blend from here to here. So I kind of giving you different kind of profile, and you can adjust it. Okay, that way is when you have the prong on the other side, it will blend better. Let's click OK. All right, so now you can delete those two tabs. Let's take a look on the perspective view. So we have this. We can do is using the sweep one rail, and this is the rail cross section, and then you hit enter, then you will get that prong there. So next step, we need to make sure it is solid. So we want to do is type a cap, C-A-P. Then I will have a cap. It doesn't look too nice for the rendering if you have really sharp edges. So let's go ahead to fillet the edges. So let's go to fillet. And then the radius, let's type it 0.2 maybe. Let's give it a try. All right, so it looked nice over there. All right. I like to do 6 prong. Few things, two ways you can do it. You can use the polar array, which might be faster, or you can use rotate with the copy. So let's try the polar array. It's living under the transform, and you have array, you have polar. Okay, so I want to type it center is 0, and I want 6 of them, and 360 degree. So I will have this prong set. All right, if you like everything look nice to you, just go ahead and bowling all of them at once. All right, so now we have our head is done. I also depends on the orientation that you have. In this case, I would like to have it rotated 90 degree. I'm sorry, it's 30 degree, and then so that way it will have 2 prong touching the shank, which is more stable than 1 prong is touching. Okay, all right, so now that's starting working on the ring shank. I'm going to draw a circle, and like most of my demonstration, the diameter is going to be 16. All right, and then I'm going to move this one above the circle, and that's where the prong is going to be. Now let's take a look on the perspective. All right, this is what we have there. The next step, what we're going to do is create a shank. On the original one, you can see I have this open on the top, and what I did is actually I need to draw the curve first. I'm going to create another layer so it's not blocking, and I'm going to call the first layer is head. The second layer I'm going to call it ring shank. All right, so I'm gonna send this circle to the ring shank, and I'm gonna turn the head off so it's easier for us to take a look. All right, so the first things I would like to do is creating the arc, right? And it can be anywhere, but make sure that you want it to almost touching the center. Okay, I'm holding the shift so I can get the half circle. That's the arc, right? The second things I'm going to do is I'm gonna put another little tab here. All right, so instead of drawing the curve, and this might be too fat, instead of drawing a curve, I'm going to use the blend tool, So we're gonna use the blend. It's living under icon here, and then you're gonna blend from here to here. Alright, so you may have something that I have here. Now let's take a look on the perspective. That's because the original two tab, they are not on the same place. Alright, to fix this problem, you just need to pick up the curve. You want them to be flat to the C-plane, and you type a project to C-plane. We want to delete the original one, yes. And then now if you look at the perspective, they are on both on the C-plane. Okay, so let's do it again using the blend tool. I'm gonna blend from here to here, and it looks alright to me. Let's click OK. Alright, so I have that one, and since it's gonna be symmetrical, so I just need to copy to the other side and kind of join it. Alright, so the question is, how am I gonna get this curve follow the ring shank? The command we are going to use is called curve from to view. It's living under the curve command, and then you pick up this curve and this curve, and very quickly you see this curve. I'm gonna turn this in the red color so it's easier for you to see. Okay. Once we have it, since we only need the top part, we don't need the bottom part, so I'm gonna use this curve to trim the bottom part. So now I have this one on the top. Okay. Since it's gonna be symmetrical, you can mirror to the other side, but I don't want to mirror everything to the other side. I want to finish one side and then mirror to the other side. Okay. Now let's take a look on the top view. Now we need to make it into the solid, right? So we need to create some sort of a profile. That's starting creating the profile to make it solid. I'm going to use the rectangular tool and then choose the center. So I'm snapping into the quadrant right there. I'm going to use the 1.2 millimeter stone. So as long as you are bigger than 1.2 and leaving some room for the prong, that you will be fine. You don't want it to be too thick, but you don't want to be too thin either. I'm going to have it as about over 1.5 millimeter thick and roughly about 1.8 millimeter. And I'm using the corner for conic, so you can have this cushion looking surface. I'm sorry, cushion looking corner. So let's moving this from the midpoint to the quadrant, so you're not cutting inside of a ring size. Alright, now I need to move this in a little bit to the center line, so I can make sure that I can overlapping them, and I'm gonna use the mirror to the other side. Alright, so let's take a look on the perspective. Alright, this will be the profile for the sweep one. Let's do sweep one. This is the rail. You go from here to here, and then you got this surface there. It looks alright. Let's take a look on the top. It doesn't over the middle. Take a look on the stone. It's kind of cut into the prong. Maybe too much, because I do need to have a stone over there. So let's do a little bit of adjustment. Let's delete this one, and we want to delete the red one because you have so many control points. It's hard for you to do the edit by just dragging the control point. So we want to edit the original one. So let's pick up all the points that you're going to move, and let's drag it back a little bit. You don't have to drag it way too much. We just need it to be shorter, so there will be a gap there. Let's take a look on the curve. When you have curve from the two view, this curve and that curve, okay, it looked like it has a good, shape. But let's take a look first. Sweep one, cross section, and look like It's all right. Okay, so now we have this one, and again, just not confusing, I'm going to this original one to trim off the bottom curve. All right, so now that one look okay. It's touching the center stone. Let's take a look how do we create a bottom one. I'm going to have this curve and going to copy that curve, snapping into the quadrant of my ring shank. All right. In our front view, you have that little profile right there, and we are going to use the rotate tool to rotate it 90 degrees. All right. Then let me go back to the perspective and let's hide that one. All right. So we need to have those two profiles sweep to the bottom, so you will have a very nice blend. And so we need to make that two into one. Let's go ahead and trim off those two, and while they are select, let's join them. And don't forget to mirror that to the other side. All right, now it's time to do the sweep again. Let's go to sweep one, and you will go from here to here to here. Usually I like it to align to the center of or inside of a ring shank, center of inside of a ring shank, and make sure that they are pointing the same direction. So I'm gonna go this one, point the same direction, and let's take a look. All right, blend it really well. It's tapered down to the bottom, and let's turn on the part we just did. All right, it looked really nice as well. Let's go ahead to mirror that surface to the other side of the ring. And let's join together. So now it becomes solid. All we need to do now is build a little bridge there so it's more comfortable on the finger. So I'm gonna use the bottom profile again on my top view, front view, and then I'm going to rotate it to somewhere inside of that shape. Okay, I'm going to turn into the red color. It's easier for you to see. Let's take a look on the perspective. Now you see the profile right there, and we can create a bridge, but I do not want the bridge is too fat. So I actually want to scale 1D down. So let's go to scale tool, use scale 1D, snapping into the quadrant to the quadrant, and kind of bring it down. So make sure the bottom is still stay on the ring shank. Let's go ahead to mirror this guy to the other side. Okay, so all we need to do again, it's going to be sweep one. This is my rail, and I'm going to sweep from this curve to this curve. Okay, so now we have something on the bottom for our head to sit on. So that way you don't have to be relies on the head to holding the shank. And don't forget to cap this one because that's only a surface, open surface. And for aesthetic purpose, I might need to move a head just a little bit up. All right, so I have definitely enough room for my stone to run through. All right, so that's a basic ring shank that we have. Wait a minute, I see there's a surface in between, and it is okay for the rendering, but not too okay when you wanted to print it. So, all right, so let's fix that. Let me turn the head off. All right, so I don't know if you see what I see there, but it's an overlapping surface. So we need to trim that. If you want to, let's explode it. So back to this part and separately. All the bottom we can join back together. They don't have problem. Okay, so I'm going to hide this one. So you probably will see better what I mean there, because we overlapping the profile a little bit, so you got double surface there, right? If you say I'm going to trim this guy, let's see, I'm gonna trim. It doesn't let you trim, right? So it doesn't work. So the way to do this, you have to split your model first. So let's take on a look on the top view, and let's draw a curve like across our model. On the top view, I'm going to use this curve to split them into 4 different pieces. So let's use the split. Those two will be split by this curve. So now you have multiple pieces, right? And we no longer need those small ones, so we can just go ahead and delete that small one. Oops, this one. And also we can delete this one. All we need to do now is join those pieces back together. Alright, and then let's take a look on the bottom. Let's turn it back to the bottom and let's join those together. Alright, now in our property, say right here is a closed solid poly surface, so which is good. Now with this one and this one, let's also bowling it together, and then double check again. It's closed solid poly surface. Alright, so let's go back and turn on the head there. Alright, I don't want to join a head yet because I might need to have a completely surface to do my stone next. Alright, so this is the basic shape of this ring. So next step, we are going to do the bead setting on the ring shank all the way around. So stay tuned. It will coming up for the following Monday. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like and comment and share my video. It takes really long time, roughly about 5 hours to make a 15 minutes video. So your help on sharing and also comment is helping me ranking on YouTube. Thank you for watching. See you next Monday.